Minutes past 9 here on the Radio Wammo Breakfast.
The Radio Wammo Breakfast.
Game junkie, Gerard Campbell.
What you're hearing right now is some pretty old-time music for a game that really looks pretty old-time, but not at the same time, of course, because it's brand new. It's on the Xbox 360 Live Arcade. It is called Toy Soldiers. Gerard Campbell, game junkie, as stuff.co.nz is along to tell us all about it. Hello to you, Gerard.
Hello, Wammo. How are you?
Very well. Yeah. Now, I saw the trailer for this game come out last year, and I was excited just by the look of it. It looks really, really cool. But I haven't really had a chance to get in there. But you've got your hands dirty on it.
Yeah. It's got a it's like you saw. It's got a real old school, look to it, and you hear the old time music, and it's got a sort of a World War One themed tower defense game. And so you've got little, turn of the century tanks, and it's the, I think the real appeal, is the little toy soldiers that you used to play with as a kid. Well, maybe you didn't, but you used to be able to buy them bags of, I don't know, 100, and they had the flamethrowers and that thing. You used to play little toy soldiers, and this is exactly what it is, and it's taking that childhood toy and sort of sexing it up for the, the noughties, and it's a really brilliant take on that tower defense game, but with a nice, sort of, real World War One black and white talkies feel to it. When the game's loading, you're getting little postcards of, sort of old school, the sort of thing that you expect, at the black and white talkies. So it's really got a nice sort of old time feel to it.
And when you say tower defense, I mean, what is a tower defense game?
Yeah, well, a tower defense game is essentially, where you have to set up defenses, and you've got to protect. In this case, it's your toy box, but you have to protect, either your home base or yourself from oncoming waves of enemies. And Xbox Live Scene. We've had, I think there was a South Park one last year, which was a tower defense game, and games like Plants vs Zombies, that's a tower defense game as well. So essentially, what you're doing is that you have a set amount of time at the beginning to set up some defenses, and in Toy Soldiers you can set up machine guns and as you defeat the foes as they come towards you, more cash, so of course you can upgrade weapons and you can get better things, and you can put in mortar rounds, you can put in howitzers, you can put in mustard gas, so just and those things you can only put them on specific places. So there are platforms that you can put them on, but like all classic tower defense games, the first wave that comes through is pretty simple. In this case it tends to be just foot soldiers.
Yeah.
You have great fun in launching a mortar in and seeing these little toy soldiers fly into the air, and and then but they get each round gets progressively harder, and how this one differs, and you said it before, how this one differs from a lot of tower defense games is that is actually a wee bit more strategy involved to some of the more simplistic ones, because you have to actually strategically move between units, and you can actually control the units yourself if you like. You can highlight the unit and actually fire the machine gun yourself, or fly the biplane yourself, or fire the mortars, or you can just leave them to do it.
Right, so
themselves.
So compared to some tower defense games that you might be able to get, because I know you can get tower defense games on your phone or on your iPod or iPhone, right through to pretty basic consoles, right through to the more modern consoles now.
Yes.
And so that most of those were basically strategy, weren't they? You'd say where you want to put your towers, if you want to upgrade them, but this takes it to the next level.
Yeah, it does, because like all the other tower defense games that I've played, you've set up your defenses and basically you've left them to it. You can't you can't jump in and decide where you want to fire or whatever. But this one here, you can, if you've got a machine gun set up at a certain point, you can highlight the machine gun, press the A button, and you're suddenly in control of it. So you can dictate where you want to fire, where you want to do. So it's taking it to the next level. But something that I've found with some of the earlier levels is, you have to strategically work out which units to upgrade and when to do it. And I guess the learning curve is I'd say it's a steeper learning curve than a lot of the other tower defense games, because early on, in one of the levels, you get this huge big Tsar tank, which is this huge big thing. But I quickly learnt that after I'd been defeated a couple of times and it had gone through and smashed my toy box to pieces, is that I had to upgrade my howitzers, because that was the only thing that was going to take this big thing down. So you had to knock out your initial troops as fast as you could, earn as much cash, and then upgrade your howitzers so that they could take it on. But as you can see, it's just got a nice, the whole gameplay almost takes place in almost like a diorama, almost like you could see, boys in the 30s and 40s having set up in their room with, the little toy soldiers and the hills and almost like almost a box-like thing, and it's just got this nice feel to it that you are playing a game in a box.
It's not really the toy soldiers that we would have grown up, because I grew up with little plastic toy soldiers.
Yeah.
So it's really the toy soldiers of the 20s and 30s.
Yeah, because even the vehicles are, the tanks that you'd expect that they would have had on the battlefield in 1914 and World War One, and that sort of thing, wind up keys in the back of them, some of them, and it's and I guess it's refreshing, because most of the war themed games that we're getting these days tend to be World War II or current war, so it's actually nice having a change of pace, I guess, and and the little soldiers are beautifully animated too. Soldiers next to the mortar rounds, when they fire off a mortar, you'll see them put their hands over their ears and do all those bits and pieces. And a soldier in charge of the mustard gas will, once he's run out, he'll have to turn the valve on the tank and that sort of thing. So there's just some nice little touches. It is one that surprised me. It's 1,200 Microsoft points, so that is on the steep side, I guess, for a Xbox Live game. But I think that if you like tower defense games and you really want one with a bit of a challenge, that this one would really be worth having a look at.
And I'm always a little bit of a sucker for games that come out of Microsoft Studios. For some reason, their attention to detail and graphics and the beauty of their games seems to often be at a level above the rest.
Yeah, I guess that's because they're they're Microsoft, one of their first party studios, so I guess demands, but I guess the production values are probably a lot higher because they're pumping a lot of cash in. So I guess that, I think it's good to see that, some of these Xbox Live games and these downloadable games in general that quality level has gone up. That they're actually on par with, and often sometimes better, than some of these full price games. These games that you're paying $100 for. And I think for gamers who don't have hours and hours to put into a full price game, with an Xbox Live game, you can run in, play a round of this or whatever, half an hour, 20 minutes, you're done, it's bite size, and I think that's the real appeal of these things. And I think there's been some really brilliant Xbox Live games over the last year, and I think as broadband gets better and digital distribution gets better, I think that we're going to see more and more brilliant arcade-style games coming, and that's really going to appeal to people.
Well, it's certainly something to look forward to.
Yes, yeah.
Toy Soldiers, available, as you say, 1,200 Microsoft points on Xbox 360. And, of course, if you want to engage more with Gerard and see his blog, it's over at stuff.co.nz. And, of course, on Twitter as well, twitter.com/GameJunkieNZ. Catch you next time, Gerard.
Thank you, Wammo.